In today's recovery session, I'm dealing with golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, slap tears, torn rotator cuffs, spondylolisthesis, and a pars fracture in L4, L5. Yep, I've got all that stuff and I can still outperform my 20-year-old self at 45 years old. And it's because of not only the workouts that I do every week, but these recovery sessions that I do. It's Sunday here in Australia, which means today's the day that I don't actually do a full workout. Actually, I don't do a workout at all. What I do is I use a whole bunch of these tools on my body, self-massage. So massage ball, I've got a muscle scraper here, I've got a So-Right, and I've got my foam roller. Blech, mental blank. And I always start with a little bit of foam rolling. This is a really firm foam roller. I love the firm ones. This is actually a vibrating roller, but I never use it on the vibrating setting when I'm filming because you can hear this bzzz in the background. So there you go. So I just do some foam rolling to start with. For me, it's funny, I get, so spondylolisthesis, pars fracture, and I've also got spondylosis in L4, L5. That all happened from a fall that I had when I was in the army serving as an infantry soldier, and that's the one that causes me the least amount of problems at all by far. And I get people asking all the time, how do I deal with it? What did I do? What exercises do you do? And it's not about what exercise I did, it's about the process that I do every day. So it's about managing it daily with the workouts that I do and with things like this, with foam rolling. Foam rolling and trigger point release gives me a really nice, like when I get up in the morning, that's when I feel it the most, and I just feel tightness in my back, my lower back, and my hips especially, and it pulls me into a really uncomfortable anterior pelvic tilt. And foam rolling, for me, is a really good relief from that. It just tells the nervous system it's okay, you can relax these muscles, you can let it go, and then that allows me to, do my strength and flexibility work and, keep it at bay. So, in all honesty, the main reason I do the foam rolling is because of that, because of my back issues, which is why you see me focus so much attention around the hips, because everything around the hips, like if you've got pain in the lower back, you have to deal with the quadriceps, the hip flexors, the glutes. And then I get a little bit specific into the lower back here. And this is really like, what I find is Sunday for me is my rest day. I work out twice a day, Monday to Saturday. If you're new to this channel and you've just tuned in, all of those workouts I post every day so you can see them all. I do strength and flexibility training, I do calisthenics and movement training and handstands and all that good stuff. And Sunday is my recovery day, so I don't do any workouts, but I just do a little bit of this stuff. Just a little bit of foam rolling and trigger point release and stuff like that. So I'm going to move on from my dealing with my lower back issues, so spondylolisthesis and pars fractures. I'll move on from that in a minute, and I'll move on to dealing with my shoulder issues, which is that I've had slap tears in both shoulders and also torn rotator cuffs. And last thing I'll just do a tiny bit of trigger point release in my glutes, because my glutes have been a bit tight lately. Oh. And all of it, it all just gets really locked up around your lower back and your hips when you've got those issues that I just described. And so, if you watch this in real time, if you start doing this stuff, you can really manage a lot of that pain and discomfort with as little time as you're seeing me do here in this video. And it's just, for me, it's just about it's just about prioritizing what you do with your time, If you've got a family like I do, but if you're not a fitness professional and it's not your job to come down here and do videos like what I'm doing here, you can do this stuff in the lounge room while your kids are playing around you or while you're having family time, You don't need to view this as being like something where you have to go and dedicate time for a workout to do it. You can find that time, you know, to blend this kind of stuff in with your family life or with your life. You know, you can do this while you're watching TV if you're somebody that loves to zone out and watch Netflix or whatever it is that you like to watch. It's all just about, you know, finding ways to incorporate this stuff into your life. All right, so now I'm going to move on to dealing with slap tear and rotator cuff issues, because when you've had traumatic injuries like slap tears, like I have, it's always there in the background. Like a slap tear never truly heals. An MRI or a CT scan will always show that you've had a slap tear after you've had it. So it's always there, and it's about managing it. And there's a lot of, you know, without a doubt, the main way to manage it is through strength and flexibility training, which is what I do in all my other videos and my other workouts. But doing some trigger point release like this as well can be useful. You can get, your body can just, as a, you know, its way of mitigating threat, or mitigating risk, I should say, is that the nervous system can tighten up muscles to restrict movement, which can cause impingement. You know, people get shoulder impingement, and you get this, like, if I move my arm here, that hurts, or if I move my arm there, it hurts. People experience that type of thing. And by doing trigger point release like what I'm doing here, and all I'm doing is I'm just moving around and finding any spots that feel really tight, and there's nowhere really that bad today. Some days I'll get onto these exact same spots and it'll just be really, really painful and uncomfortable. I'll go over to the other side. And yeah, I'm just looking for those tight spots and just getting in there. And if I do have a really tight spot, then I'll just hit it for about 10 or 15 seconds until I get a release, because you're basically just creating a pain response that is so much greater than anything else going on, that the nervous system releases the tension. And that's pretty much what happens when you do this trigger point release stuff. You're basically just tricking the nervous system. You know, you could say you're hacking the nervous system to just release your muscles and give you a release. All right, that's feeling pretty good. So I'm going to move into my rotator cuff now. So I'm going to get on the back of my external rotators of the rotator cuff. I should be more specific. And these are really, really tight for me. I've got really poor internal rotation after my slap tears. I've worked on regaining a lot of strength and a lot of range in flexion. And I've also been working on regaining range in external rotation, because the shoulder just locks up. It just freezes up when you've had a slap tear. But the internal rotation is something that I'm really only just starting to push now. So this is a cool way to do it, because I'm getting trigger point release on my external rotators, which are the muscles that are tight that prevent internal rotation. And then I'm doing a loaded stretch by pushing down on my arm, creating some more internal rotation. And now I can do some contract relax, so I can pull with the stretch to try and get a bit further, and then relax, and then I can resist against the stretch and then pull. But I'm really just looking for any trigger point release that might be there, and it's feeling pretty good, so I can move on. So everything's feeling pretty good at the moment. Everything that I listed at the start of this video, I'm really just giving you guys context for anybody that hasn't watched my videos of why I'm doing this stuff, what I've had. And, you know, every one of those injuries that I've described, the golfer's elbow and tennis elbow, not so much. Golfer's elbow and tennis elbow can completely stop people from doing anything. If you've ever had it, anything that involves pulling or gripping or grabbing things, it's really full on. But the slap tears and the lower back stuff, they're the really bad ones. They're the things that can require surgery, or that people can fall back on surgery far too soon in my opinion. But I am able to perform at a high level because I've learned how to manage this stuff. So, and I believe that you can too. We have lots of people in our UMS tribe membership that came because they have herniated discs in their spine, or they've got spondylolisthesis or spondylosis, and they want to, or they've got slap tears and they want to be able to do what I can do or what they want to be able to do. And it works really well if you do the right stuff. So, shoulders done, lower back's done. Now we're going to move on to managing my golfer's elbow and tennis elbow, which are almost 100% fixed now. I was actually taking note this morning. I can barely feel it anymore. With the golfer's elbow, when you push your fingers together like that, you can really feel it in here, and that's my test. I always test to see how it's feeling, and it's feeling really good. And remember, what I'm doing here, this is the icing on the cake. This is like the exercise, the rehab that I do from day to day in my workouts. That is the main driver for adaptation, for rehabilitation. Doing this trigger point release here is really is just the icing on the cake. This is not what the main work is. So, but that said, I do still get a response from this. I do still get a result. It just helps to, like, I'm flossing the muscles here against each other, the fascia, and just getting a trigger point release up and down through those wrist flexors, which are the muscles that are, the tendons that are inflamed with golfer's elbow, with medial epicondylitis or tendinopathy. Okay, and now this is for tennis elbow. Personally, I actually prefer to do this one against the wall. It's easier when you just put your arm against the wall and do it like that, but I have to readjust the camera and everything, and I want to be able to share with you guys what works, but I also want to just not have to stuff around with the camera. It's Sunday here and I want to get upstairs and spend some time with my family. And all of this stuff that I'm using here, it's all, there's links in the description of this video. So if you want to get it from the Amazon links that I have, of course we get a really small commission from that at no cost to you. But I've found the equipment that is at the most reasonable price and that is good, because there's some garbage out there. And it really helps the channel, it helps us if you use our Amazon links. Helps us to be able to keep making these videos for you guys. See, this one, it's funny because you have to get around on this side. Oh, see, that is really tender for me right now. And it's much easier. You can see I'm having to twist my body. It's just easier to do that against the wall. Okay, let's go on this side. But I'm actually really happy to get to today. The way that my body's feeling today, this last week has been really, really good with training. I've definitely hit the nail on the head with my volume and intensity. Basically the load that I've put on these joints, on my shoulder, on my arms, on my golfer's elbow, and it's all feeling really good. It's getting close to pain-free workouts, which means that I can start pushing further towards my goals this year of a one-arm pull-up and a handstand push-up. Because when you have injuries and you have pain, it is not a smart idea to be, working on max effort stuff. Even if you've got a goal like a one-arm pull-up or a one-arm push-up, the first goal is to not have golfer's elbow. One-arm push-up, what am I saying? Handstand push-up. Because if I've got golfer's elbow, which is really, made worse when you do intense pulling, as soon as I start doing any high intensity pulling with one arm, that golfer's elbow just goes nah. And I tried, a couple of months ago, I tried adding in some one arm ring rows to start working up towards some single arm work for the pull up, and the golfer's elbow just said nah. And when I was doing my bilateral work, so my regular pull ups, it was all fine. And as soon as I started doing the one arm pull up or work, it just said no, not ready yet. So you've got to deal with that stuff before you move forward. Okay, what I'm going to do now is actually just a little bit of muscle scraping for my shoulder, and I'm just going to put a little bit of this sports gel on. Actually, I'm just thinking I should be alright. I was going to take my singlet off, but I think I'll be okay. So, because with a slap tear and with the shoulder discomfort that I've been feeling with the bicep is a big part of that, where the bicep connects up to the labrum up here. So this muscle scraper is really, really good for this. And you can feel, I'll just compare it to this side. Yeah, there's no, isn't that interesting? On that side, there's no bumps. You can just feel it goes up really nice and smooth. But on this side, I can feel like this. And so you're just working those little adhesions and all this stuff out. I can't tell you the exact science of what goes on with muscle scraping like this. I've spoken to people that have explained it to me, and I've had treatments from physiotherapists and from chiropractors that use these things, and it's made me feel way better. And so that was good enough for me to want to get my own one so that I could do it myself. So this is called an ached away muscle scraper. I've actually got a discount code where you can get $25 off if you use the code UnityGym. It's all in the description of the video if you want one. All right, that's... yeah, and it doesn't take much, you know. You don't have to do a lot to have a really positive result on your body. Just that much once a week can really help. So I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got something out of it. Subscribe to my channel, of course. Help us grow. We're going to 100,000 subscribers this year, so help us be part of the journey. If you like this video, check out one of those ones, and I'll see you in my next workout.